The real problem I've had with this car, obviously caused by me driving it into the ocean and puddles, is that the wheels got full of water. And then when I started to do high-speed stuff, they had a lot more centripetal acceleration, and it kind of started to peel the tires off the bead in a few spots. See? So I got to reglue that. Now the question is, how do you get the water out of them? Well, I cut a few little holes in the center of the tire, and when you spin it out, it slings the water out, as you can see. So that's how you dry your tires out and make the car a lot lighter. You cut little holes and then it'll sling it out of the foam. Also, I got a hair dryer down here to help dry it out from the ocean. I did took a shower with it, you know, of course. We're going to do a little review of this car after the bashing. So, got about 10 batteries through it, drove it through some salt water, some puddles, flipped it over a lot. Did a 90-foot drop, threw it out the hotel room window, drove it down the beach, etc. We're going to talk about any damages it's sustained, any wear, and...
Who are we?
Are you want to be involved?
You're involved?
We'll get the doctor involved too. Okay. Yeah. So, the royal we, Caleb. So this car's kind of funny. You can see it's got the same A-arms front and rear. So we'll flip it over so we can look at any kind of slack that we've gained. You can see there's a little bit of wiggle here. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So we've got some wear on those pins and that A-arm. A lot of scrapes and scratches on the A-arm right here. See the bolts are scraped up a little bit from doing stuff. A lot of wiggle there. If we hold this tire, we can check this. That feels pretty good. It's about as much play as it had from the factory. There's a center diff in this one, obviously, so it's like a little cush drive thing, they call it. I want to pull this off and check out the drive shaft and stuff, but I lost my toolkit already. And obviously I'm not home, so I have my tools. Some scrapes up here. Nothing too terrible, though. There is more play in the steering than there used to be. So you can kind of see that right there. That could all just be in the servo saver. I'm not sure. We'll flip back over and check. An old Rainier will do the trick. Got our Rainier jack stand under there. So let's see where the slack in the steering is coming from. Some of it is just the servo. Or maybe the servo horn's getting a little loose. I think that's actually most of the slack we're getting. Servo's held up fine so far, but I would like a more precise, faster servo. That's for sure. After taking it in the ocean, I took it in the shower and rinsed it down really good. And then I took a hair dryer and kind of dried it off. Still some water down here in these honeycombs, so... But both fans are working good so far. People complain about the fans. No issues there. No issues with cooling. I've only run a 3S so far, but it does do wheelies and everything pretty well with the 3S. It just has a problem using its self-righting in some situations with 3S. But overall, very, very tough.
Usually,
See, the servo is not sitting in there right. It might just snap back into place. It did. Kinda. But the way the servo mounts is not very chill. See how it's kind of loose? So that's something to keep an eye on. It doesn't, the screw kind of, I don't know, the servo just doesn't really mount in there. It snaps down and this big bolt kind of pinches on top of it, but it was able to pop out, and that was giving me some slack in the steering, but